What's up? Hi. So, I'm on day 2 of playing around with lemon juice. Put a little stuff right here. Pretty much just, for the most part, I'm drinking it straight. Just sipping on it throughout the day. I have had times where I've mixed it with water, or, what do you call it? Yeah, or just drank some straight water, but it's doing me quite well. I feel very, very flu-like. I mean, my diet and my lifestyle before this, I pretty much just lived on mostly grapes with some tertiary meals here and there of tomatoes and dates over the course of the summer. So pretty much since grapes came into season in the United States, I've been living on those guys, but I've pretty much, when it comes to cleaning myself out, I've for the most part plateaued when it comes to eating any sort of food. I mean, some people can go on grape fasts and they continue to see results, but me, no. I could probably eat some grapes right now and come down a bit, but so basically the only things left for me to do is fruit juice, water fast, things like that. So that's where I'm going. And with the what do you call it, the lemon juice, I'm also incorporating some herbs, and I'll go into those in another video. But I wanted to talk about the main reason that I got into raw foods to begin with was I have an issue which in the allopathic sense it's referred to as Chilbains. It's quite similar to Raynauds and Lupus, and what happens is when it happens when I'm in colder environments. My hands and my feet will swell up, and if I do end up going through a healing crisis over the course of the lemons, using the lemons to detox myself, I'll definitely make a video of that, because the last winter when I did play around with some herbs and I hit the lemons hard, I did have a slight healing crisis in which my hands and my fingers, I mean, they blow up and they look like sausages. It's very, very, very painful. It gets to the point where the skin starts to crack. And so my reason in getting into raw foods one of them was to try to correct that issue. I've been dealing with it for about a decade at this point. About a decade, somewhere in there. And I had no idea what it was, or even had to remotely come close to fixing it up until about a year and a half ago. But, so I went to multiple doctors, and a lot of them just had absolutely no clue. There was one doctor that sort of comes from trying to look at life from a holistic point of view, and he told me to, if my feet started hurting and swelling up, that what I could do was put some cayenne pepper in my socks. And, I don't have swollen feet because I have a cayenne pepper deficiency. So, I thought like that, let's fix the cause rather than treat the symptoms. And that's what a lot of my videos, which I will continue to make, I hope to encourage people to start to think from a causative factors rather than, it's like you don't have a headache because you have an aspirin or an ibuprofen deficiency. It's because something else is going on in the body, and by taking that aspirin or ibuprofen, whatever you're taking, that is you're treating a symptom. So that headache goes away, but the problem is still there. So that's how my thought process was even before I got into any sort of interest in well-being. And I mean, at one point I went to one of the best vascular surgeons in New England, and he walked in with his medical books, and he told me he had no idea what my issue was. He had never even heard of it, and he ended up giving me my co-payment back without me even asking for it. So what I have found is that my issue, it arises from a stagnant lymphatic system and kidneys that don't filter properly. And when I say, for the purpose of this video, when I say kidneys aren't filtering properly, I'm speaking solely of the lymphatic system. I'm not referring to the blood right now. So just think lymphatic system here. So what happens is the kidneys, they're backed up. They're not filtering properly. The lymphatic system gets backed up, and the way that that stagnant lymphatic system expresses itself in my body is my hands and my feet start to swell up. Now, if you watched my video on dealing with the cold, I talked about how the cold puts the body into more of a cationic state or an alkaline state. That's why my hands would only bubble up during the colder months here, because that cold was pulling the toxins out of my cells, but the stuff had nowhere to go. So when we look at chemistry, we only have two sides of chemistry. You have your acid and you have your base. Now with you could potentially get the body into an alkaline state to the point that, yeah, you could start burning, but it's really, really, really hard. You're not going to most likely do it with any natural means, we'll say. And natural, for the purpose of this video, I'll just say is things you would do in your everyday life, just like eating normal foods and going about your day. So, but it's quite easy to put yourself into an acidosis, a state of acidosis, and I mean, I started to get the hint that what I was doing to myself wasn't good early on, when I used to really be into bodybuilding and wanting to look like some freak. And you know, I'd noticed that towards the end of the day, after I'd eaten large quantities of protein or taken protein shakes, and I mean, I used to drink casein protein, which is just like, now I look at that and go, ah! But anyways, and so after some of those meals, I would notice my fingers would start to really pump up and start to hurt. But then in the morning, it's the only pain that really was there was from just the fact that the skin had been stretched out. So, I mean, through adopting a raw diet, that has it's helped the issue to go down dramatically. And now with me really taking an effort to clean myself out, because I mean, I look at my irises. For anyone familiar with iridology, iridology is it's a little science where you can figure out certain imbalances in the body by what's going on in the irises. And I mean, by looking at my irises, I have a very, very dirty intestinal tract. I have a lot of sulfur. I have an overall strong constitution, so I've got that going for me. But, and also for whatever reason, I also tend to I show in one of my eyes that there's a lot of weakness in my heart. So I don't really have any heart issues in my family, nor have I ever experienced anything, but that also could come too, because I used to smoke heavily, and I have a lot of congestion in the lower area of my lungs, so everything's connected. So that's probably what it could be. But I mean, just the purpose of this, all in all, this video is to show that there are very, very simple answers. Not necessarily the easiest thing to obtain, because I've been playing around with herbs and raw diet for a while now, and I'm just now starting to finally get some results in terms of my deeper health issues. But the answers are pretty simple. I heard there's a man by the name of Dr. Morse, Dr. Robert Morse. If you're not familiar with him, look him up on YouTube. He's awesome. But I first heard him make a statement. I was familiar with his book, but when I actually started seeing him on YouTube, he was making the statement that there's no such thing as diseases. And upon hearing that, I was like, that's crazy. I mean, clearly my hands hurt. Clearly somebody has a tumor. That tumor is very real. That pain, it causes discomfort. That's real, it's real. And after learning more about how the body works, what the lymphatic system actually is, what the function of the kidneys actually is, I found that a lot of things within the allopathic community are based on theory, and that the vast majority of issues, I'll call them, that arise within someone's body, it's caused by a stagnant lymph system, kidneys that don't function properly, weak endocrine system. In me, it turns out that my hands bubble up. In somebody else, it might turn into a tumor on their breast or in their lung. But all in all, it's acidosis, and that acidosis can be, we can get rid of that by the way that we live, the changing of our diet. And our diet, I don't like to harp on diet to the point that, because most people will think that, you know, the diet is the end-all be-all, which it isn't. But a diet is, in theory, the easiest thing to fix, because you can control, for the most part, what you put on the end of your fork. Most of us live in a time period in an area where we can obtain some sort of fruit. We do have the option of, yes, I can eat a hamburger or I can eat a salad. So we do have those options. But it's, I mean, there's so many other things that go along with well-being other than just diet. I mean, a lot of it is your thoughts. You can create acidosis in your body by being angry all the time. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out some things that can occur within the body, that it really isn't the hardest thing necessarily to turn around, and just to give people a little bit of hope and know that there are simple solutions to seemingly very, very difficult issues. So, hope that helped. Sorry, I'm detoxing, I'm a little bit out of it, but I'm gonna go take a nap now. Anyways, subscribe up top, comment, like, say how you do. Take it easy. Bye.